What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay. This is a special edition that we're going to actually do every single week. It is a version of my mastermind call, which I host with, you guys know, 50 people on my Patreon account. I want to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. We're going to lead this actual call every single week. We're going to post it on Monday so you guys can see exactly how a mastermind works. You can create your own, meet some friends that do the same thing you do with a like-minded purpose, and meet every week. And over time, you're going to develop something really special. I was in a mastermind group that was $500 a month. And that's what introduced me to this idea. And the guy that ran it met with the same people for 7 years. And the average person in that group makes $1 million a month. But imagine meeting with people every week for 7 years. That's insane. And then slowly, continuously improving over that time. And you don't want to be the person that didn't bring anything to the table every week. So they were hustling. And that call was 3 hours a week. So we don't necessarily have time to do that, but it's just interesting to look at how something scales over time when you work at that level. So we're going to introduce ourselves in this first call and lead an actual mastermind call to give you guys an idea of how they're run. So I'll start and we'll go alphabetical order. So we have, let me just write this down. Me, we have Kevin next, then Prince, then Sam. So my name is Chris. I'm 10K on the Bay on Instagram and on YouTube. And my goal is to get to 10,000 live listings on eBay. We'll go over some goals for the different people. Actually, we'll just start with that. Introduce yourself and then give us an idea of your goals for eBay and Amazon. So go ahead, Kevin.
Hey guys, how are you? My name's Kevin. I am the Clutch Swag store on Instagram. I would say my goals, well, I sell shoes, so my current goal is probably to get to 5,000 shoes in my inventory active at any given moment. Currently, I think I have about 1,000, so I'd have to do five times what I currently am at.
Awesome. Prince?
What's going on, guys? So my name is Prince. Prince P __ on Instagram. My eBay goals are 8 figures on eBay in the long run. I think it's very possible, very doable. So that's one of my long-term goals.
Awesome. Sam?
My name is Sam. You guys can find me on Instagram, OSS_Empire. And currently, I have 2 Amazon account and 3 eBay account, and I'm planning. My goal is to hit at least 8 million profit, probably within the first 1 or 2 years.
Did you say a million profit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, I have 3 contractors just working on electronics, and I do most of the clothing and shoes on eBay myself. And sometimes I get help, from some of my friends. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's a quick little intro. Guys, I'm going to reach out to the Instagram community. This is sort of a higher level eBay group or eBay Amazon group. And we're looking for 3 women that do $20,000 a month in sales or more, just so we can sort of round out this and not fill it totally with ego and dudes. So hopefully we can get a nice balance to the group and get it going. So we're going to basically go over how we did this over this past week and our biggest challenges, and then we're going to hop into a hot seat. So I'll go over sort of what I was working on this week, and then we'll go in the same order. So this week I had $2,900 in sales, right around $1,600 profit. I had a lot of home runs this week in electronics category, and right now I'm trying to prepare myself for potentially high returns. So my challenge for the week is to set up a processing center for electronics, VCRs, DVD players. I'd like to set up an area that I can test, and I'm not sure how to film it, but I'm worried about the potential returns being very, very high. And that's made it so I have to buy something that's literally 5 to 10x profit for me to even touch it. And I feel like that I'm losing a lot of money by needing that kind of a margin. If I had a better processing system, I could buy stuff that I could triple or quadruple my money and not have to go 5 to 10x because I'm so worried about returns. So that's my challenge for the week. I want to build an area that I can test electronics properly. That's also my homework for the week, which we will do every week as well. So, Kevin, how was the week? What's good? What's bad?
So the week's good. What I'm trying to learn is I think a lot of people this time of year are on vacation and stuff like that. So I've been working the last week. I looked at all my numbers for last month and I kind of found like an average per day. So I like made a little calendar and I wrote out every day what sold, and then I made an average for each day of the week. So like what to expect from last month and then to see what happened for this month. I'm trying to keep track of, the changes I'm making. I just recently updated all my listings. I'm using a listing format. It's called Crazy Lister. I wanted to see how that would help, see if that makes it look more professional or if that increases sales conversion. I think that it has recently. Again, I've only been running it for a week. So I guess it's the first week. So the last 7 days, I sold 70 pairs of shoes. So that's 10 a day. I'm looking at the computer. It says on eBay. Now this is just eBay. So I sell a couple of pairs through Instagram just from posts I put up. But just eBay, 70 pairs, and I sold them for about $3,700. So I'm not sure what that averages out to be.
That's pretty good.
So it's an average sales price of $53 a shoe. So I've been moving a lot of small stuff, I guess. And I don't really have any big ticket items in right now, so that's fine. I still average the same percentages. It's just you have to move a lot more of them to get to where you want to be. But yeah, normal sales week. I'm getting some equipment in the mail, I think tomorrow or the next day, which is going to make the photos look a little bit better. So I'll see if that helps too. I think we were talking about that. I shoot a lot of the product on a roll top desk, which is like a wood base. And I wanted to see if having like a all white background would change conversion. I know there's people out there that says that it does, that it doesn't. You never know. You're going to find out as you go, I guess. But just trying different things and ultimately just trying to increase sales and see where it takes us.
Is what you're working on this week photos then?
Yeah, so this week, well, now today actually I have to go out and source. So I work full time, and then besides that, I try to fit in sourcing. So today I'm off, and I was actually supposed to be in Philadelphia at 9 a.m., but I figured that if I was out there, I might miss this call. So the call was the most important. So I'm going to do the call, and then after this, I'm headed straight out to Philadelphia, which is about an hour away from me, and I have to pick up product, and then after that, I have to go to New Jersey, which is about 25 minutes from Philly, and then pick up more product, and then bring it all back.
Crushing. All right, Prince, what's going on? How was the week? What's good? What's bad?
Week's been pretty good. It has been good and bad. Past 9 days, I've done on track 16K in sales so far. So we're on track for the month. Good and bad. So good thing I found more suppliers. I've been calling people like crazy. I found suppliers. I found a huge supplier actually. I don't know if you remember last time we talked about capital and I had no problem with buying the items. Now I'm having the problem with capital. I don't have enough capital to purchase all the inventory that I want. So then I look into PayPal working capital. I don't know if you guys ever used that before, but to get that loan from PayPal, you need to have like a very clean account. And the algorithm throws a red flag if you have any kind of issues on your account. I don't have any issues per se, but I have limitations on my account. So when you get like a higher payment, like $300, $400, PayPal holds that fund for about a week or so. And so that's throwing the red flag, and I'm not able to get the loan. And it's causing a little bit of an issue for me. So right now I'm working on trying to get my account clear of those holds. Those customer service are not really helping me with that. They really don't know. They don't have a resolution for me. So right now I'm trying to. It kind of sucks, but I'm trying to stop all my sales that are higher than over like $300, so that I don't get those holds anymore. I get the working capital, and so I can buy more inventory.
Yeah, the working capital loans are, since you're not that seasonal, it should be pretty healthy loan for you to buy some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is just getting it because the algorithm throws it off and they can't do anything about it. So
it is, the approval process is automated. There's no underwriters.
Right.
I think it's the same for Amazon. Amazon lending, is that what it's called? I believe so. Yeah, Amazon has the same process.
Okay.
That's awesome. Sam, what's good? What's bad? How was the week?
So everything is going well except one thing. On one of my main account, actually, I went below standard because there was like conflict with this some of the buyers. Because when you're doing electronics, you get into
Mm,
a lot. For example, like one of the items I sold for 1,600. The buyer wanted to return it, and he said that the item was damaged, but we make sure that that was double backed. So I asked him to send him a picture, and he refused to do that. But eBay stepped up and actually refunded him full price, and I received my items back. But they weren't on the same condition, so they threw a red flag on that one. But on the positive note, we did over 5,000 this week. So 500 on one of the Amazon account, another 1,000 on Amazon, 500 on one of the eBay, eBay second eBay 1,000, the third eBay like around 3,000. So 3,000, yeah. So one of the things that I'm doing right now is like with the electronics, I have 3 contracts, so they go from 10 until 5. They go there, they source the stuff. It's like everything is in the warehouse, for example, for the electronics, so they don't have to go outside to source for that kind of products. And since I already have like really good place to source without anyone interfering, I don't have to go anywhere. So I trained one person to source from the outlets, and they go to eBay room, and someone just test them out, and someone else list them, and I do all the shipping just to make sure everything is good. So yeah, and on Amazon we were able to ship 600 units this week. So my goal is to ship at least 600 units for the next 3 months, and maybe around fourth quarter I want to do at least 1,000 to 1,200 a week, like units to Amazon. So yeah. What else? Oh,
that's
and
awesome.
I'm also going to Key West tomorrow, so Florida. So I'm going to give a key to one person to the warehouse so they can just access it and ship the stuff out on time. But so yeah, I'm not going to be doing Amazon or eBay for next week. Yeah. So that's one thing.
What kind of challenges are you going through right now? What do you think your biggest issue is right now?
Like my biggest issue right now I have is like time. I do full time. I'm a full time student still. I'm taking 2 classes over the summer, doing homework, all this on time, and being able to manage eBay, Amazon, because when stuff happens, I have to step up and actually because some of the people, they don't know, like you have to have the right response when you're doing big numbers, because I have like most of my customers, they come back over time, so they come back over and over. So I want to make sure I have really good, time with them and making sure that everything goes as planned. And one of the biggest problem that I have right now is just time. Like I literally go to sleep. I wake up around 8:30, go to sleep p.m. like a.m. again, like around 3:30 because I'm up. So yeah, and I have like 3 computers right now. I have to manage everything, and sometimes I don't even stay in the warehouse to make sure that they do their work because I don't have the time. I just have to trust them, And my partners, he helps, he makes sure everything goes as planned. But we have another business on the side that runs. It's more than even Amazon, but so yeah, time is one of the challenges that I have right now.
Cool. So I want to go back real quick, Kevin, to what do you think your biggest challenge is? Because we went over like something for this week, but like getting to the next level, what do you think your next issue is?
Oh, I gotta spend more time. One of the things that I look at the shoes as an investment. I say that all the time. I didn't start doing shoes to flip shoes. Like it wasn't like my dream to have a bunch of sneakers and sell them. It was like, I had money and I didn't like that the banks weren't going to give me a good interest rate on my investment. So I was like, you know what, I like shoes. I have shoes. So I sold a couple of my shoes and then I was like, oh, wow, that's a good investment. So my biggest thing is definitely my time. I got a lot of things, like my grandfather always tells me, I got a lot of irons in the fire. I took the money that I initially have made from shoes and I put it into real estate, and that's kind of a rinse and repeat thing. So I own my house. I'm buying a second house. I'm trying to close on a third by the end of this year. So it's like, And what I want to do is I want to rent out and just, keep putting the money into something that's going to make more money. I gotta have more time. So more than anything, just make the time, get up early every day and see what happens.
Awesome. So it sounds like for most of us, so I'm going to pick a topic for this week, and it's not going to be specific to any one of us just for this week, but normally it'll be someone in particular. So we're going to talk about time management, because I think that that's something that's going to be huge as we grow. And I wanted to share a couple of examples with you guys and hear what you think. So there's one of the guys in the group does sourcing only 1 day a week, and he looks to buy $5,000 worth of revenue and at least half profit in 1 day. So he and his wife have a goal of a $10,000 profit a month, and they're lifestyle entrepreneurs. So they're looking for just like as little time as possible. So they spend 1 day sourcing to get $5,000 worth of stuff, and the rest of the week they hang out together and list it and ship it and whatever. So that capacity of potentially $5,000 a day sourcing, I wanted to ask what you guys think. First question, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on how much you think you could source in a day. What's possible to source revenue-wise and profit-wise in 1 day? What do you think? Should we go? We'll start with Prince.
Okay. I think that's kind of, I don't know. It depends on the category that you're selling in, right? I think you might miss out on a lot of opportunities if you're only sticking to 1 day.
1 day.
What about the other 6 days? Someone comes out with a product they want to sell really fast, and you're just
Right.
you're like, oh, no, I don't buy inventory this day.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can miss out on a lot of opportunities. And, I know you're really into time management. I'm not a stickler with having like a process like 2 hours this time and then 6 hours this time. I kind of just do it whenever I want to do the work. Although I do like 8 to 10 hours of work on my business, stuff like that. There's no strict time for me. It's whenever I want. Like I go to eat whenever I want. I go to the gym whenever I want. But I don't have a specific time. But I do think that 1 day thing does limit them, because what if that day comes and they can't get that inventory that they want in 1 day? You can't keep running a business like that if it doesn't work out that 1 day.
Would you look at it as a weekly sourcing goal? Because the reason I ask is some people I wonder if you could increase the amount you source each week to slowly get to where you want to go as far as a plan.
Okay. What I do it monthly based. So
Monthly, okay.
I'll buy inventory for the month beforehand, what I think I could sell, and then I'll keep doing that the month before. So 2 weeks before the month ends, I'll look into buying more inventory for the next month, so that I always stocked up on that. So,
Sam, what do you think as far as sourcing? You're kind of in a unique situation.
Yeah, I have different method, because from Monday until Friday, most of the time I don't source that much, but I use techniques to, as an advantage too, so I can have, I don't have to source that much. For example, I use different apps to, I have filters that, the products I want, and most of the time in a week, I buy in bulk a lot of stuff. For example, I bought a full Amazon merch, products from one lady. She was moving out of town, but I literally bought her entire inventory, over 2,000 products. So I bought that straightforward. I went there, I checked it out. It was really good. She actually had a lot of stuff that was toys and stuff that you can't just find in an everyday base, and some of them are vintage, rare stuff that you can't find. So I use filters throughout from Monday until Friday to source, and on Friday night I do garage selling just to build my negotiation skills and stuff like that. So on Friday I source clothes, shoes, that stuff from garage sales. So I use different apps to see where the deals are, and I go to 3 to 4 of them, and most of the time I come back I spent over 300, because I buy stuff a lot in bulk a lot. And time goes, I literally have every day of my time, just every minute that I have, it's already been planned out, because I have to be with the homework, with going to work, going to the warehouse, everything. I have to have time management, because if I miss, if something comes up, I need to know ahead of time, because I can't just make plans over and over. So one thing I'm planning on doing is to scale at a level that I want to do right now, it's like Amazon is like one of the ways to go. So I'm, while I'm doing eBay side, like trying to get to where I wanted to, but at the same time, I'm trying to build my skills on Amazon. I was actually got nominated for one of the wholesale courses by FBA Hustle. Jason, I don't know if you guys know him, but he's doing really well. So he's giving me tips on how to find products, because on eBay you're finding one product and you're trying to sell it, one time. I know the ROI is really big, but when you do wholesale, you're finding one product and you can just reorder every time. Your profits might be lower, but that's what I want to do in the future, and have it still run eBay on the side. For example, one of the biggest seller on eBay, they're not just selling on one platform. They have different platforms. So I don't want to put all of my basket, all my eggs in one basket. So I want to get into Amazon at the same time on Amazon, because they can shut you down any day, like literally. So I have 2 accounts for that, eBay as well, just to be on the safe side. Yeah.
That's really interesting you mentioned that, because Prince is building a network of suppliers, and when you set up a filter on Craigslist, you're essentially developing a network of suppliers. You're developing a system to get stuff to come in. And the better that system is, the less you have to rely on stuff, the smaller your sourcing time. That is interesting. There's different ways of setting up an easier way to source. Kevin has a unique way of getting stuff also.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Kevin, on as far as sourcing?
Yeah, no problem. First thing I wanted to say is I've been meaning to say this for a minute. I should have messaged you, Prince. But Prince, I gotta shout you out, man. That cold calling thing is huge.
Yeah.
That's 100% hustle. So I respect that.
Thank you.
Prince had made a good point earlier too. He was saying it depends on the category as far as the original question.
Mm-hmm.
With me with shoes, I would say, and I'm terrible with my numbers, but 90% of what I buy is probably from a Nike outlet store. The best time to buy from that store is on a sale date, which is usually a weekend or something like that. And the biggest sale that they do is 30%. So I actually source probably only 2 or 3 days out of the month, because those sales happen, the first on a weekend, and it's Friday's the first day of it. So I will literally go there Friday and buy 400 pairs on that Friday. And then I wait until the next, and then I buy everything that they have, you know what I mean? I'll buy everything that I find is profitable. And then I wait until the next 30% off. And in that time, that store has built back up their inventory. They've gotten more product. I've built back up some cash to put more out there. So it is tough. I mean, like with Prince, he wouldn't be able to do that. If he has somebody that wants to sell him a product at a good price, he's got to jump on that. With me, I know that product's best price is at a certain time. It's almost scheduled. So I can kind of work it around there. So it depends on the category. I'm trying to think. Sam does everything. So where can you go wrong there? I have a specific category. Sam, it seems like he sells pretty much anything and everything. So he'll go to garage. I've never even done a garage sale or anything like that. So I know there's tons of money in it. So I guess it really does depend on what you're selling. If you're doing wholesale. So yeah, my model is more, I do kind of source just on, I wouldn't say 1 day out of the month, but it's probably 2 or 3. So yeah.
There's one comment that I wanted to share, that because I went to Amazon ASD earlier this year, and I basically talked to every single huge 8-figure, 9-figure, 10-figure seller, and I asked them what's the route to where you are, and they said the route to where they are is you build your margin with one-off items, because the margin's exceptional. When you buy one, you can make 100x sometimes on your money, or 10x or whatever. But you build your business with replenishables, so with consistent suppliers. So as you build up your suppliers, when you have extra time, buy the high margin stuff, the liquidation, the closeout, the garage sale, the thrift store. You can't scale that part, but you need those profits to start building the relationships with the people that continue. And it's something I've noticed about you guys. Kevin knows everyone at the outlet on a first name basis. Prince, is developing the relationship one by one. Sam obviously has connections. He also has a partner. So like relationships are the key part. And there is no like, can you sell me a course that develops relationships? You can't do that. That's not how it works. It's actually manually building stuff one by one. And I think it's also important to say, like Gary Vee talks about how he DMs people one by one. That's how he built his giant empire. And on Kickstarter, when you see these campaigns that raise millions and millions of dollars, the founders messaged people one at a time. They're not doing mass emails. It doesn't work. You can't just send a flat email to every pawn shop in America. They're going to delete that email. It's probably not even going to get to them. So that's pretty fascinating on the
one thing. So like when I was doing shoes, clothes, and that kind of stuff from like Ross, Marshalls, I was able to build a relationship with some of the employees, and now I still get like messages, and when they have items that sells really good, they know what stuff that I buy. So like they message me, they're like, we have this item, come pick it up. Like I get that, like when I'm working, I just get that, like, come get this, because before they put it on the floor, I already have access to that. So that's one thing that I'm doing. Like I don't have to go there every day. I have, employees that, that are giving me advantage over, other resellers.
That's huge. If you were to know when the corporate sale happens and you're the first person there, that's a huge advantage. One of the biggest kingpins I've met locally is a manager at Journeys, the shoe store. He makes like 500 grand a year on online selling and minimum wage at his job. But like the connections he gets from being at the mall, he knows all the other managers. And when they have a sale, the public doesn't even know. He's like able to get all of it before it even, the store doesn't even have a sale because he's able to just get all of it. And he's like, I'm never going to quit my mall job because the connections are so deep. And that's not something you normally hear about, but think about how many retail shops are in the mall. And if you have a lunch meeting with 20 of the people who are managers, I can't even imagine, because as you guys know, actually, I don't know if you guys know, but some stores' policies is to throw away product if it doesn't sell. I can't believe that's a store policy. Throwing it away. There's throwing it away. There's cutting it up and throwing it away. There's cutting out the tag and donating it. There's all these things that happen in the mall where the product is being destroyed, so it's not resold as new with tags on the secondary market and degrading the price. But there are people who definitely have arrangements set up where they're buying it and they're selling it as used. It's new or some kind of contract. But these deals happen. And I can't believe he's making like almost 10 times the income, online income, but he works at the mall. I just think that that's a very unique thing. And your relationships at Ross and Marshalls are still paying dividends. You set them up one time, they're still calling you like, hey, because they also have numbers. And I think that's something that is important to remember with pawn shops, that if it's a corporate pawn shop like Cash America or something, they have rules. Like stuff has to move within a certain period of time. Otherwise, they get penalized. So they're discounting at there's certain turn rules that they have to abide by. I think every corporate store has that rule. What do you think, Prince? What's your experience on corporate versus mom and pop pawn shops?
I really never worked in mom and pop shops. I've always been in corporate companies and things like that. But just to agree with you, human interaction is, I think, everything. I think business is somewhat built on the foundation of emotions, right? Everyone has emotions, even though people want to think just business and, they want to leave their emotions aside. But if emotions are always going to be involved, I think if you utilize emotional intelligence, that would really, really help you. Like, why do we go purchase something and then like give them a thank you card? It's not just for fun. It's it's to utilize emotional intelligence. You're making someone feel good, feel happy, so they'll keep coming back to you. So I think that's a really key thing, because I know like my suppliers, I'm sure they could find other buyers at a higher price, but they always come back to me because they know I'm reliable. I keep them happy, and I don't I don't give them a hassle. So I think that's one key factor: learning how to communicate, and then learning emotional intelligence, for sure.
Sam, can you give one? I'm gonna have all you guys do this. I'm going to have Kevin give an example on, actually, we'll start with Sam. Can you give us an example of how you built a relationship at Ross?
So when I first started, actually, I started $100. So because when I was in high school, I was doing robotics, going to different competition around the world. I didn't know anything about reselling, or my intention was just school, focus to school, do your mechanical engineering thing. So literally, I didn't have time to, and I wasn't allowed to have a job when I was in high school. My parents, they were very strict about school. So when I started, I was like one of my partner right now. I was working for him, and one day he figured out that I was selling shoes, and when you go to school, like they know, like all we people talk about is shoes, and like I saw some shoes that are Ross that are like cheap. Okay, for one thing, I haven't bought a shoes for over $80 until this day. Like I get a stuff for way lower than the retail price of it. So I know how to get stuff because I didn't have the money. Like I can't ask my parents to buy me like $180 shoes and that kind of stuff. So I always find ways to get it for cheap, like some of the stuff that you can't find anywhere. So so when I was working there, I was able to turn that $100 and then buy 3 shoes from Ross.
Wait, so
And
you worked at Ross, or how did you get the?
so yeah, I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
So I bought 3 shoes, and I went to after the guy I was working for, he saw that I was selling on eBay. He didn't have any reselling business like from his business. He does a recycling. He doesn't have any. So he told me, he's like, try to sell this, and I was selling stuff like this, and I was allowed to sell only 5 items on eBay because I didn't have any history on my name, like on online, like literally I didn't have any. So I was listing 5 items and giving them callback to increase my sales. Then, so I didn't have like, any capital, right? So I started working at Walmart. So for like part time, while going to while I was going to like full time student, working at the warehouse, going to Walmart. So basically, I was bringing in money and I was just buying products, but I wasn't listing at the time. I was just keeping inventory. Like so, I started selling on the fourth quarter. So all that time, I was just building inventory. That was, I mean, that was a good plan, but it worked. So
So just to go back to my original question, when you were working at Ross or Walmart, how
yeah,
did you get the relationship? Did you get it because you were working there? Is that how you got the connections with
about
the
to get.
people? Oh, you're
So
about to
yeah,
get there. Okay.
yeah. So after working at Walmart for 3 months, I said, I was like, it's not worth it. I hated it. Like I'm never going back or working for anyone actually. So I went there. So I didn't like it. So I just told them, I don't want to, come back. And I told them before school stuff, I didn't have time. So 2 weeks later, I applied for, at Ross, and they accepted me. So I see how they do stuff from the inside and out. Like I know, like when they bring in the stuff, there are people, I know literally the whole system, and now people know me, and I was using like uh my employee discount, like literally I max out every day. So I was doing that throughout that. Like I saw how everything was going, and I now like after I saw everything, I know who to go to. I don't go to like the cashier to ask for products. You have to know like some of the people who work in the back, like and the stocking. Those are the people you want to get in contact with because before anything comes out, they're the ones with the deal. So I was able to talk to them, and when I was going to different places, they know that I was an employee, so they know that everything is going on. So I told them, I'm looking for this kind of stuff, and I showed them, I work at Ross there. So I was able to build my relationship by doing that. And now after I left, I worked there for 3 weeks and left again. So yeah, so by doing that, I was able to build a relationship. But then like when I go to Marshall's different stores, I'm just doing the same thing, like talking to the people who are actually, bringing the stuff out, not the ones who are selling it, like in the front. And after people see you over time, they know who you are. Like they know me. I go in there. Like when I was going there, I was getting out of there with like carts, like 3, 4 carts. So and I was getting discount. Like for example, at Ross, if you're not employed, you're not getting 40% discount. So I was getting 40% discount out of the extra 60% discounts they have, but lower than retail. So I was just literally buying stuff, and on the fourth quarter I was able to sell like all the shoes and all that. So I started selling on eBay the clothes stuff on November 5th, but I was selling electronics before that, with with my partner.
That is so interesting because the top Goodwill outlet seller that I know was a Goodwill outlet manager. So like this employee concept, like I wonder if Prince took a part-time job at a pawn shop for like a month, if he would get some kind of crazy insider knowledge on the turns and stuff. Because this stock room idea, it makes sense because when I sold retail arbitrage and we had 1,700 pairs or something in stock, it was because we knew the stock guy. He would text us like, this came in, where's my lunch, basically. And that's how we would figure it out, as we met that guy, and he's not even visible in the store. We just went into the store so often that we ran into the stock guy eventually, because he was the guy bringing the stuff out of the back, and we're like, hey, why don't you just tell us what's back there? And he was like, okay. But it took a long time, and this recognizing you over time concept is key. But let's move right into Kevin, because I think he has that relationship set up where everyone knows him.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to sound really watered down now if I explain it. It's not going to sound as good as it should. So I was super young and I worked at Nike. So, I mean, that's pretty much where it all started. I was like, oh God, I think I was like 17. And I worked at Nike and I was quiet. I just worked hard and they promoted me up. I became a lead of a department and I was in charge of managing people's lunch breaks and basically putting product on the shelf. So why there's 3 rows of a shoe or a full bin of a shoe or there's 2 rows of a shoe, placement in the aisle actually matters depending on Nike actually categorizes it down the aisle. So if a shoe has visible air, it'll go before a shoe that doesn't. So stuff like that, you have a rule and a policy with that. So I worked at Nike and then I stopped working at Nike because there was way more money at my current job. My current job offered me, a good salary, so I took it, and I've been there since. But I kept those relationships because I was still going in there for myself. And then I would see something in there that was size 9. I'm a size 11, and it was a good price. So, the employees would tell me first, and I would buy it, and then it turned into. I'm not going to name names or anything, but like a manager that I was close with told me, there's money to be made in a running shoe. He showed me the running shoe. I think they were $20. They were a Nike Vapor Court. It was like a Roger Federer shoe that he wore. So anyway, I bought a bunch of them, sold them in like 3 days for double the money. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, I'm putting in $20 and taking out $50. And I'm putting in $100 on one pair of Jordans and taking out $50. So it's like, it didn't make sense. So I was like, now there's a whole different, amount of product to get. So I knew everybody. And then from there, there's nobody in that store that I don't know, I work with 3 different stores. I know managers in about 5 different stores from Pennsylvania to Jersey, which is Prince's neck of the woods. So it started from me working there and having coworkers. There's not one of the employees that still works there when I did. So I made relationships with people that I knew. And then from me walking in, every time I would walk in, every employee would turn and say hello. So then the employees that didn't know me, I made it a point to say hello, ask them for their name. Cause with any job, they get surveys. So you can ask them for their name and say, I'm going to fill out a survey. I appreciate your help. Or if there's a store that really kills it for you, if you want to buy them pizza for their lunch breaks, you call the manager the day before and ask them about what sale is going to happen, and then let them know, like, hey, tell your employees not to pack lunch tomorrow because I'm gonna buy pizza or something like that, or I'm gonna buy Primo's hoagies and have it delivered or something like that. So it's just little stuff, talking to people, just be personable, be a human. People want to talk to you. If you're transparent with them, they'll be transparent with you. And I have it tons of times now where you go places, I don't even ask them to help me out, and they want to help me out. I'm like, you don't have to do that. I don't want you to risk your job to help me make $20 or something like that. It's fine, but people will go out of their way for you if you're 100% authentic with them. So I really kind of cheated a little bit. I already knew people before I started doing this, and like I said, I fell into this, so it wasn't something that was planned or premeditated by any means. So that's how it worked.
I have a couple comments on that before we go to Prince. Um, as far as the store discount goes, I have noticed that the people in the store have seen me, like when I sold shoes, they would see me buy 20 pairs of shoes, look at it online, look that I doubled my money, and still have zero interest in reselling. So I just think it's interesting that there's people who don't want to resell, period. And they're like,
Mhm.
I buy zero of my employee discount because I don't care. I just go 9 to 5. I'm perfectly content with the amount of money I make. I go home, pays my bills. I don't need to resell. I'm not
Sure.
interested. Sure. Could I make a quick $100? Sure. And I'm like, a quick $100 is more than you made at work today.
Right.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that, but
I
there's
get upset with that stuff though, just because it's like when people don't care about that. I mean, I can understand not wanting to do that, but at the same time, you have to value your time. It's your most valuable asset. You cannot get that back. It doesn't matter how many hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars you make, you are not getting that time back. So if you would rather spend 8 hours making that $100 or 1 hour making that $100, I mean, I don't understand that. I feel like sometimes, and it goes back to a lot of people asking for help online too, which I'm no mentor or coach, but so many people ask me, how to do it and stuff like that. It's like, you have to value your time more than anything. So if you don't, I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. So, I mean, it's sad. It's sad when people, because it would be one thing if you walked into one of those stores and the employees weren't complaining. Like I go into the
that's
store and
true.
they'll say, I'm so sad that I can't afford the books for tuition. Cause a lot of these people are kids, going through college, and, they're like, I can't afford this or that. I need this or that. And it's like, well, you know what I mean? It's, you gotta want it. And I feel sometimes I want it, more for them than they do for themselves. So it's tough. Each person has their own, I guess, destiny in life, and they're going to do what they're going to do. So, but yeah, it is. I do get upset when I you want to help people so bad, but they've got to want to help themselves almost. So it's tough.
I just can't believe people don't use their employee discount. It's like when you get half off of half off, it's free. So I don't know why they're not doing it. But go ahead, Prince. How have you developed relationships?
So going back to what you're talking about, this pawn shop, working there, working where you want to do your business. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a quick way to learn about the business. Definitely, like this mastermind call. If you want to get into reselling, like you should get into this mastermind call. You should watch these videos. You should sign up for it, right? You should be involved. That's the quickest way. Like Gary Vee says, and it really depends on what stage you are in your career. Like if you're doing $10 million in sales, you're not gonna go to a smaller business and be like, "Can I work for you?" No, like it really depends on what stage you are. But if you're just starting, you should just get into anything. You know what I mean? Like it really just starts off watching YouTube videos. It starts off with just making really small sales, messing up, falling down, getting back up. That's all it really is. And yeah, working with stores definitely. There's people who are willing to pay people to like just shadow them. A lot of people do that. They pay them, like, can I just sit by you, watch you, like ask them questions once in a while. Like people will pay to do that, and like people don't value that. There's a lot of value in experience. We've gone through all the ups and downs. Well, not all of them, but we've gone through a lot of ups and downs. We know like the ins and outs of this business, and that takes years to develop, right? There's a lot of value in that, and that can actually speed up your process of getting to where you want to be. So I think it's very important that you go into the business that you want to, work in.
I think this is super interesting because no matter what level you are, you have to do the work of learning the beginning part. I have a good friend, Sean, who wanted to start an ice cream shop, and he's sort of already financially independent. He doesn't really need money, but he still applied at Cold Stone and Haagen-Dazs as like when they look at the resume, they're like, why are you applying here? Like you're incredibly overqualified for this job. And he doesn't say why. He's just like, I just need some extra money. Goes in there, writes down all their processes. And then he opened an ice cream shop. That's basically all the processes from Cold Stone and Haagen-Dazs. And he's like, as for him, it was faster to shadow a store that's already working than to try to figure it out on his own. And I'm just going to share a quick story that I used to sell Lexus, and I sat next to one of the top 10 salesperson people in the country. He did 600,000 profit a year. And I just sat next to him and I just tried to be him. And he was extremely organized to the point where like he knew like different socks would affect his performance during the day. What time would he go to the bathroom? Like how many eggs he ate every day. It was all planned to the point where like he was systematically selling 3 cars a day and making $600 to $1,000. He was making $3,000 a day. It was insane, right? When you get to the point where everything's all polished, but then for me, I got to sit right next to him. I just basically hacked the system by just being able to watch him. I think if the 4 of us could arrange a trip to go look at an 8-figure eBay seller for a day, right? We would probably learn more from just being in that building for a day than we can on YouTube because someone's already doing 8 figures. There's already people with 9-figure Amazon businesses, right? If we were to, and it's hard to kind of gain access to these people, but we could figure out a way to go just look at how that's done. Before I didn't even know thrifting existed until I went on the YouTube and looked, but there are people who there's a eBay seller named Phoenix Trading Company that has 100,000 thrifted items for sale. Like, that's amazing that even every single model is scalable to pretty much any level.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's a difference between reading something online and then actually experiencing it. The way you consume the information in person, hands-on, physically, is a lot different. You get a lot more value from it. Like, you could watch a video of a millionaire and hear him talk, blah, blah, but sometimes the information will go in one ear, go out the other. But when you actually experience it, you retain so much more information and you feel like it's true, it's like it's real information. And yeah, that's why there's a lot of value in that.
And one thing I want to say is, like, when I first started, I was trying to create a process where I don't have to be there. Like, for example, I was watching videos how they make, ship shoes, how they have like stations set up. And I was trying to always apply that. For example, one of the reasons why I work for us, it's not because of the shoes and all that kind of stuff. I was trying to see how are they getting stuff in and how are they getting stuff out. So I was trying to learn the process so I can apply actually on this. And, when I first started, I wasn't planning on, doing online. I was planning actually, open a store and doing that. But, everything doesn't go as planned. And one thing actually, like what I do is like, if you guys have figured, like seen my Instagram, the people I follow are like limited because the people I follow is who are the ones that I'm trying to be at. Like, for example, if I can gain something from you, I'll follow you. That's one of the reasons, because if you're following everyone, you will miss on the ones that actually, that are important. Because some of the big sellers that I watched, like sometimes they post like random day, they post their process. For example, like Chris, you posted how you do your listing step by step, right? I was literally doing screenshots one after another, so I could just write it down, see how I can adjust it, so I can improve mine. Like you can see behind, like for the closer stuff, I have pretty much similar to your inventory. I just made a tweak so I can just improve on. That's one of the things. Like you have to watch people who are actually not just listen, actually follow them, and see how they're doing things. One of the things I want to do is I'll apply on the warehouses. I want to be able to apply like the barcode scanning, like because the inventory right now is getting bigger every day. Every day goes by because we have a lot of stuff coming in every day, and I was able to actually create a process where I don't have to be there now. Like if there's something happens, they just give me a text like this, that, and that's it. Like I'll go there, just check them out, and just go on with my business because I can't be there to do like every step. So I'm always trying to create a process where I don't have to be there. Just apply it the most efficient way and just try to scale that out and have like multiple. For example, if you have one lister and if they're doing the same thing, and multiply that if you have like 10 people there, just apply the same thing and you will see the numbers go, beyond. You can't do everything by yourself. And one thing is just bring in people and scale your business to the max.
That's very interesting that you bring that point up, because that was my original concept. I want to sellable business. Not necessarily I'm going to sell it, but I want it to be able to be sold, which means every part of it needs to be oriented in the matter. That's why today I was asking about the sourcing, because I'm curious. I've heard about people who have teams that go out and do garage sales, because garage sales have the highest ROI, but you're only one person. You can only go to one garage sale at a time. And this person figured out how to go to 19 garage sales at a time. So that's unbelievable that you can set up a document like, here's your PDF, go home and read it, and here's some cash. Tomorrow go to the garage sales and let's try to max this out. But that's the buying process. Then you have a listing station and a shipping station, and then essentially you have a company. And I like also to bring up the point that Sam has a couple of different eBay accounts. That doesn't necessarily prevent you from getting suspended, but I have seen Amazon sellers and eBay sellers with multiple Wi-Fis, pocket Wi-Fis, so that they can keep the internet service provider separate. In case one account does go down, they're not unable to sell on eBay for a short period of time. So I think that's sort of an insurance. I like that. And that's why I don't have people list outside of my house anymore, because I don't want that IP address tied to a bad one. So that is interesting.
Yeah. One of the things I do is like I use different IP address. Like I have different phones. Like everything we do, they're not related one way or another. Like if I give you, like, I don't give out information, for people to, go to my store and that kind of stuff, because for various reasons, you never know who's looking. eBay might be looking. You never know. So I always try to separate everything. And it's like there's no connection. For example, from IP address to their, for their phone number, everything, they're all just separate. Like everything is separate. So even myself, sometimes I have hard time. Like I have literally like passwords, everything. They're not related from name to like even business accounts. Everything is different. So everything is set up, it's like a different business right there. I'm not in it fully, I bring in partners so I don't have to deal with that, and just give them, partial of, the business, and I do all the work. You just give me, I always try to work because I want to be able to take this business to the next level. And, I don't want to get, if I get into something, for example, on my main account, I'm below standard right now because of, the stuff that happened because of the big items. So because of that, I'm always trying to find ways to separate one from another, so I don't have to be, capped. If you have one account and you're selling it, you never know what happens, So you always want to put all your, eggs in different baskets and figure out ways to manage them. So, yeah.
So we're going to jump into our homework for the week, unless Kevin, do you have anything else that you want to add right now before we get into that?
I got nothing, man. We're covering tons of good stuff here.
We're crushing
right now. We're crushing.
So one more idea, and then we'll go into what we want to get done this week, which is we've mentioned this multiple times, which is OPM and OPT, which is other people's money and other people's time. That's what when you're leveraging a working capital loan or your credit card or your buddy, and I've heard people say, once I figured it out, I borrowed $250,000 from my friends and now I'm a millionaire. But you have to figure out a system first before you leverage other people's money. And you have to figure out a system before you leverage other people's time, because they can't just be not adding to your value. So that's pretty interesting. Now let's jump into what we want to get done this week. Does anybody want to start with their specific goal? And then each week at the beginning of the call, we'll go over whether or not we actually did it. I'm going to write it down and hold you guys' balls to the fire and make sure you get that done this week.
So actually,
that's one way to put it.
so I'll be on the beach for the week. So I don't think.
Well, yeah, resting is doing. So it might be your goal to not check your phone or something.
Yeah. So what I did was actually, I was already prepared. I sent a lot of stuff to Amazon. So I know, eBay stuff. I already have stuff drafted. When you don't list on eBay, your sale goes down. It's just, I don't know why, but your sales go down. So I have stuff already ready, drafted. So I'll list a couple every day for each day. And I have already shipped in 12 boxes last week, just from last week, to Amazon. And the Prime Days today, it starts at 9 a.m. So I'm waiting for that. So I'm already.
West, are you going to be? Do you have any vacation goals?
Me?
Yeah.
So I have a group of people from the warehouse.
Yeah.
With the employees, they all chip in money and to go to a different place. For example, the place we're going to, we paid $2,700 for 3 days. It's a pretty good place, Key West. So we're taking like 8 people, and we all chip in money, and so we just all trying to have good time and actually talk about business and how we can improve this. It's like a business trip, So yeah.
Cool. So maybe send us a couple of maybe share with us next week 2 ideas that you guys came up with during your business brainstorming.
Definitely.
Prince, Kevin, you guys have an idea for this week? I'm still coming up with mine, so go ahead.
No, like I mentioned before, the same thing. Like I just want to get all the holds removed on my account so I can get that big capital.
Holds removed, okay.
Yeah, so like right now, like I could take up to like, I'm assuming around like 100K loan, which is a pretty big loan for me. It's not really a loan; it's working capital.
Right.
You pay it, so it's pretty good deal. But yeah, like that's what I'm working on the most, and that's a big deal for me. Like I might be able to like a time and a half my sales by just getting all that capital. So trying to do
Are you
that.
basing that off of the like 12-month sales or the algorithm that they predict?
No, I'm basically off of just my monthly sales. Like
Got it.
I sell out almost every month. So like I
Right.
told you, I hold inventory for like a week on the
Right.
cameras that I don't even hold it for that long. So I know I could sell a little bit more. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. That's a good tip. So next week, you just let us know how that went.
Yeah.
Kevin, this week, what's going on? You got a new camera?
Well, that comes in, I think, Tuesday.
Okay.
This week, my goal is consistency. Keep everything exactly going in the same rate. I want to try to get a bunch of stuff listed, so I haven't listed anything for about a week now because I want to test out different ways of listing and see which one does better. So yeah, consistency, maintain, and then obviously keep pushing more product to the site. Even with the same sales conversion, I'll increase sales if I just have more products. So I'm just gonna keep putting money into product, keep putting stuff up. I ain't going anywhere. I ain't taking any trips. I'll be working. So every single day, and then that's it. Keep working.
All right, cool. So I'll give you guys my homework for the week, which is at full scale, I want to do 1,000 listings bought, sold, processed a week on the 10,000 items. So that's 4,000 sold, and I want a $60 average. Okay, so that's the size of the business I'm trying to build. Step 1 of a bajillion-dollar business, right? So my goal is I want my employees to work at half the efficiency that I do. I don't want to have expectations that they need to crush it, because that doesn't work, because people will burn out and no one is as motivated as you in your business. So I'm going to try to crank out 500 listings in 40 hours this week. So I'm actually going to time it and see if I can get out start to finish 500 listings out. And I think I can. So if I can pull that off, then I'll have a process set that I could give to somebody and expect them to do 250. Because 1,000, I think I need 4 people listing full time to do that. And I actually know somebody who processes 1,000 a week with 4 people. So it's possible, but I'm going to try to get into that mode. And then the $60 average is going to require me to sell electronics, because in my area, I could source locally electronics and have that average sale price without calling pawn shops. I just need to have the proper testing center. So 2 goals, but I'm not gonna focus on becoming an expert in electronics in a week. That's gonna take longer than that. But I'm gonna try to get 500 listings. So later today, I'll post how many active listings I'm at, and we'll try to get those 500 up. That's a lot to get done this week, guys.
Yeah, it's huge.
Cool. So let's see. I think we're up on the hour. Yeah. So if you guys right now want to tell us how people can find you, and then after that we'll wrap it up. Kevin, what's up? How do we find you?
Oh, perfect. Best way to find me is Instagram. I have a Facebook. You can find the store Facebook. It's the Clutch Swag Store. And then on Instagram, it's the Clutch Swag. So at THECLUTCHSWAG. That's where you find me.
And you should hop on to GoDaddy.com and buy that URL, by the way.
I did it last night.
Perfect.
I did it last night at like 2 a.m.
Perfect.
So like 2 a.m. doing stuff.
All right, Prince, what's going on? How do people find you?
You can still find me on Instagram at PrinceP__. Like I said, today is my last day of classes, so I'm definitely gonna start jumping on the YouTube channel and create like a specific outlet for you guys to reach me at.
Cool. Sam?
You guys can find me on Instagram, OSS_Empire, and on YouTube channel, OSS Empire, and subscribe. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Make sure everybody follows everybody, and we'll see you guys next week at the same time. Thanks, guys.
Guys.